The number one mistake people make when trying to get their branded Wegovy or Zepbound covered is giving up after the insurance company says no. There are a lot of things that can be done and a lot of answers that we have for you. So I hope that you'll stick around to the end of this video and learn everything there is to learn. I'm Dave Knapp, man on the Manjaro. That's why I'm here. I have a website called onthepen.com where you can get access to our weekly podcast called On the Pen, the Weekly Dose. Our weekly live show called On the Pen Live happens every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Central. And more information about our book, Decoding GLP-1, which is a guide for friends and family of those on the pen. I hope that you'll check that out at glpbook.com, or again, you can find everything that we do at onthepen.com. So I want to get into this with you today because I find this to be a recurring theme in the GLP-1 community. And if you're new here, this is maybe the starting point for you. How do I even get this medication covered? Well, GLP-1 medications like Zepbound, Wegovy, and Manjaro have been game changers for weight loss, but the biggest roadblock remains insurance coverage. Some policies cover them with a prior authorization, while others exclude obesity treatment entirely. If you've hit a denial, don't assume that's the end of the road. Your path depends on your insurance situation. So let's break down the options into 4 separate tracks if your insurance company is saying that they won't pay. Track 1, insurance covers GLP-1s, but requires a prior authorization. Is that you? We're going to talk about it. Track 2, insurance excludes obesity treatment, but may cover the drug for another condition. Perhaps that's you. Track 3 is if you're on Medicare or Medicaid, which rarely covers obesity medications, what can you do? And then track 4, I don't have any insurance at all. What can I do? There are answers for anyone who falls into any of these tracks. And whether you're on track 1 or 2, meaning you possess commercial insurance, you want to make sure you familiarize yourself with the various manufacturer savings card programs available at Zepbound.com or Wegovy.com, where you can learn more about what the manufacturers offer for savings on top of whatever your insurance will or will not provide. So let's dig into each track so you can find the best way to secure coverage or minimize your out-of-pocket costs. So let's talk about track 1. So if your plan covers obesity medication but requires this prior authorization to be approved, it's all about presenting the right clinical evidence. Step 1 is knowing who handles your prior authorization matters. Most primary care providers, PCPs, we call them, don't deal with obesity PAs that often. This often leads to initial denials in prior authorizations from insurance companies due to errors, missing details, or just lack of experience with getting prior authorizations approved for anti-obesity medication. This is where a telehealth company like our partners, Ro, can come in super handy because they process thousands of prior authorizations for anti-obesity medications every month. Their system's designed to fight for approvals in a way that many PCPs just don't have the time or expertise for. There are many other telehealth providers that offer branded anti-obesity medications, but Ro is the trusted option here at On the Pen. You can check them out at ro.co/OTP for On the Pen. Step 2, what to submit in a good prior authorization request. So a well-built PA submission will include a diagnosis code. In this case, obesity E66.9 or severe obesity E66.01. BMI over 30 or over 27 with a comorbidity, weight loss history with previous attempts of diet, exercise, and potentially other medications, medical necessity letter explaining why alternatives won't work, and prior weight-related conditions like obstructive sleep apnea, PCOS, Hashimoto's, cardiovascular disease. So what do you do if you're denied? So you submit this PA request. Your doctor includes all the things we just mentioned. Where do you go from there? Well, don't stop. That's the biggest mistake that people make is they stop here. So what are your options? 1 is a formulary exclusion appeal. If your insurance covers anti-obesity medication, but not the drug your doctor prescribed, your doctor can submit an exception request arguing why the plans offered alternatives like maybe Saxenda, one of the OGs, are not suitable for you. The second thing is your doctor can request a peer-to-peer review where your doctor speaks directly with the insurance medical director. Option 3 is to make sure that your doctor cites clinical research. We have an article with all of this available over at onthepen.com. And at the bottom of that article, I just found quick links that I could find to support some of the different comorbidities that people live with in addition to obesity, like Hashimoto's, like PCOS or cardiovascular disease, sleep apnea. I linked it to some information on the web about those that your doctor may want to consider including in their case when they make that case for you. And if all else fails, switching providers to one that specializes in PAs might be the way to go, like Roe. Track 2. All right. So this is when your insurance doesn't cover obesity medication. What can you do? So even if your plan excludes weight loss medication, you may still get it covered under a different condition. There have been recent FDA approvals that provide new opportunities for people who live with obesity along with specific comorbidities to get approved. So option number 1 would be to look at Wegovy or Zepbound under the umbrella of cardiovascular disease. They've been shown to reduce major cardiovascular events with people living with cardiovascular disease. So if you have a history of heart attack, stroke, or high cardiovascular risk, your doctor can submit a prior authorization under a different code, not obesity, under heart failure, cardiovascular disease. And I think it probably wouldn't hurt to continue to have the obesity indication on there as they're related, but getting it approved for cardiovascular disease. Option 2 would be to get coverage under obstructive sleep apnea. Now, this one's unique to Zepbound as it is the only approved medication for obstructive sleep apnea, moderate sleep apnea to severe sleep apnea in patients with obesity and OSA. So obstructive sleep apnea, if you have moderate to severe OSA, you may qualify for coverage under this diagnosis versus just the straight obesity diagnosis. Option 3 is going to be a little less successful most of the time, but maybe your doctor is just really, really good at doing this. And we've seen patients within the On the Pen community over the last couple of weeks get approval through Roe for some of these sort of secondary conditions because the conditions have gotten so bad that they warrant treatment, right? So you're going to ask your doctor to submit a PA using different diagnoses like the ones we mentioned before: Hashimoto's, PCOS, insulin resistance, prediabetes. If your doctor can make the medical case in an appropriate way, going through all the different sort of appeals processes, you may end up seeing success and may see some level of coverage for these medications. Now, track 3. If you're on Medicare or Medicaid, this is a tricky one. Medicare Part D does not currently cover obesity drugs. It's actually against the law, right? But we saw the Biden administration at the end of their term in 2024 submit some regulatory changes that may allow Medicare to have obesity coverage. So that may change in 2025. If you have type 2 diabetes, some GLP-1s, like the GLP-1s that are approved for type 2 diabetes, are covered on many Part D plans. So Mounjaro, Ozempic, many patients are getting the diabetes versions if they have a diabetes diagnosis. Advocate for future coverage, as some states are actually beginning to cover GLP-1s under Medicaid waivers. So if you are in a state that has a Medicaid program that has waivers and is closely connected to the Medicare plans, you may actually find that you can get a waiver under the Medicaid plan that may offer GLP-1s in your state for weight loss. If you have Medicaid, coverage obviously varies by state. So some states do cover obesity medicines. Many still do not. If your state denies coverage, an appeal based on a secondary condition like obstructive sleep apnea or chronic cardiovascular disease might be the ticket for you. A little pro tip for those on Medicaid: some states offer special authorization pathways that aren't widely advertised. So ask your provider to check your state's Medicaid formulary when prescribing a GLP-1. Track 4. Now, this is the last one. This is I have no insurance at all. What do I do? If you're paying straight out of pocket for your healthcare, your best option may be to get the vials directly from Lilly of Zepbound. Now, what is that? Well, Lilly offers branded versions of their medications in single dose vials through their Lilly Direct program. Uh, the vials are only available in 2.5 or 5 milligrams right now. The scuttlebutt around is that higher doses are coming and that these prices may change. But I believe the prices right now for a 1 month supply, the 2.5 milligram are $3.99. For the 5 milligram, $5.49. So if you're on the early doses and you're doing well and don't need to titrate up anytime soon, the vials from Lilly may be a good option to look at. Those are available directly through the Ro platform as well. So ro.co/OTP if you're interested in looking at the single dose vial pricing. Of course, we're going to stay on top of all the news when new vials, higher doses, price changes happen. You'll find that information here, which is why it is extremely important that you hit the subscribe button and share this with any friends that may benefit from it. Option 2 would be compounds. We talk a lot about compounded versions. So some legitimate 503A and 503B compounding pharmacies offer tirzepatide or semaglutide. Somewhere in the $250 to $400 a month range is what they typically go for. And they're offered due to the ongoing nationwide shortages, which are sort of coming to an end as far as the FDA is concerned. Of course, that's a whole nother can of worms. But some offer them in non-commercially available doses or custom formulations. Those would sort of transcend the necessity for a shortage to exist, but there has to be a medical necessity precipitating the prescription being written of these custom formulations. Those would be available through 503A pharmacies. You want to be cautious with compounds, right? Compounds are not all created equal. There are horror stories all over. You just have to spend a little bit of time on Reddit and you'll find out that many people have some horror stories about going through non-vetted or some fly-by-night program that is now offering GLP-1s, right? That is another reason why we use Ro. Ro has been around for a long time and are very trusted within the industry. And I have a personal relationship with them. I trust them explicitly. So I suggest if you're looking the compounded route, Ro offers compounded semaglutide. I really trust them. There are other trustworthy ones, but you want to do your homework is the point that I'm getting at on that. So the final thought kind of before we let you go, again, the biggest mistake that people make is giving up after that first denial. Insurance companies count on you quitting. So go armed with the right strategy and the right documentation. And many patients will win appeals and end up getting these medications covered through their insurance. So fight the PA process with a provider who knows how to win, like Ro. Find an alternative coverage pathway like cardiovascular disease, sleep apnea, PCOS, Hashimoto's, fatty liver, and then explore the cash pay options when nothing else is available, like Lilly Direct Vial, their savings programs, or potentially compounded options. If you have fought for coverage and won, share your story below. We want to hear from you because I know that some people just out there, they just need hope. They don't think they'll ever get coverage, but they don't know that some of this stuff exists. So I hope this was helpful. If it was, share it somewhere. Share it with a friend. Check out the full article at onthepen.com. Where we have this as a featured article. And then don't forget that at the bottom of that article, we have some helpful links that may help your doctor in making the case for you to get covered for GLP-1s for obesity. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Thank you for being the best part of what we do here at On the Pen. Make sure you check out onthepen.com and sign up for email alerts for all the updates we do here. And I couldn't thank you enough for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate each and every one of you and the support that you give me here at On the Pen. Until the next one, have a great day.